Number 17. What's the answer, guys? I hear C. Somebody saying C. Anybody else? Alright, a man pays 60 cents. When you hear about cents, just think about percent. So 60 cents will correspond to what percent? 60 cents will correspond to? No. It's 0.6, yes. That was 0.6 will be, or 0.60 will be 60 cents still. But in terms of percent, think of what? 60%. 60 cents, think about what? Alright, for every dollar, you think about 100%, a dollar to 100%. 50 cents will be then what? 50%. Alright, so it's kind of easy for us to work with the 10%. So in other words, we can find, with 60 cents, we can find what? Let's look at it, guys. We can find, look at it. To find 60%, we can find what? 50%, which we know is what? Correspond to what? A half, isn't it? And we can also find 10% as well. And in order to find 10%, we would point one place to the what? One place to the left, right? One place to the left. Alright, so we're going to try to do that and see if this can help us. So 50%, if you find 50% plus 10%, you overall you find 60%. But now let's go to the question though. A man pays 60 cents, so we're talking about 0.60 as you guys said. 0.60, he pays that for what? Every 200 meters cube, right? Is the writing too small? I can see clearly. Okay, so 60 cents for every 200 meters cube. Hope everybody's paying attention. And there's a fixed charge. Fixed charge means that no matter whether or not he uses gas, right? He still have to pay that fixed amount, right? Well, once he uses gas, he has to pay a fixed charge of 13.65. It doesn't matter how much. He still have to do what? Pay the fixed amount. Now, how much does he pay when he uses 55,000 meter cube? Okay, so we know that. Let's have the money over here and the volume over here, right? So 60 cents for every 200 meter cube, and we're looking at what now? What goes over here? 55,000 meters cube, right? And over here we're not sure amount, so they're going to use X to represent that amount. So what we can do here, we can use a concept called cross multiplication, right? So we can say what? X times 200, and then what? 60 cents times 55,000. So let's try that. It works. It really works. We're just going to cross multiply.
But it's like 200 meters, 60 cents.
Yeah. So let's look at it. So let's cross multiply. X times 200 is what? 200x. Everybody see that so far? We'll cross multiplying. And then 60 cents will multiply what? The 55,000. So we want to find x. So what do we have to do with the 200? How do we isolate x? Divide it by itself. And then divide over here by what? 200. So x is equal to the amount we're looking for in currency is equal to what? Let's cancel out. What can we cancel here, guys? We can divide by 2 and get 100, right? Let's divide by 2. 2 into 200 is 100, right? And 2 goes into 60 cents. If you divide 60 cents by 2, what do you get? That should be easy. 60 cents divided by 2. 30 cents. Okay. Alright. 0.30, because that's the difference between 30 and 0.3. You understand? Now divide by 100. Let's divide by 100. Now we can't cancel out the 0 from the 30 cents like that, because that's still going to be 0.30 anyways. Right? When we cancel off 0, it's like we divide it by 10 in other words. So in other words, if I divide 100 by what? By itself, it's like moving 2 places to the left and get 1. So I divide this by 55,000 by 100 and move 2 places to the left as well. Understand? That's what we mean when we say cross off the zeros. So all we're left with is what? 30 cents times what? 550. Alright? So how are we going to do that? How are we going to work out 30 cents times 550? What we can do, guys, we can... What is 30 cents? 30%, right? 30 cents is really 30%. So it's like we're finding 30% of what? Of 550. So what we can do, we can find 10% first. And once we find 10%, then we can find what? Once we find that amount, we can find what? Once we find 10%? 30%. Okay, so what is 10% of 550? Remember? No. Yeah, 55.0. Yeah, you move the point one place to the left, right? That would be 55. So if we want 30%, what do we do? This is 10%, another 10%, another 10%. Yeah, I made a mistake. Got it? Or I can say 55 times 3. This 55 is 10%, multiplied by 3 give you 30%. Which method you want? Doesn't matter. 5 plus 5 plus 5 is 15. 5 plus 5 plus 5, 15 plus 1, 16. 165. Right? Everybody get that so far? Okay. So 165, that's the answer for 60. That's the answer for the X. The amount he pays for the 55,000. But remember, he has to pay what? A fixed charge as well. He has to pay a fixed charge as well, so you can't forget that part. What's the fixed charge? 13 what? And what amount would that give you? So 5 goes here, 8 goes here, 7 goes here, 1 goes there. So what's the answer? A. You can just simply say, okay, 60 cents, right? To what? 200. And then we say X amount to what? 55,000, right? And so you can say 0.60 divided by X equal what? 200 divided by 55,000. Everybody see that? I just put this as a fraction and put this over here as a fraction. And then I do the same cross multiplication. X times 200 is 200x. And 60 cents times 55,000 is equal to 55,000 times the same 0.60. Then you divide by 200. Divide by 200. Cancel out the zeros, right? And I can say, okay, well, 2 goes into 2 once, and 2 goes into this 0.30. And so you're left with 550 times 550 times what? 0.30, right? Alright, so how would you do this one? You can say, okay, well, I'm going to ignore the decimal, I'm going to ignore the point and treat this as what? 550 times 3. Alright? And so 3 times 0 is 0. 3 5s, 15. 3 5s, 15 and 1, 16. Alright? But remember, we have 2 decimal places here, right? I multiplied by 3, right? So what I did is like, if I take out the point, 0 point, if I take this off, then that would be more accurate. Alright, 0.3 times 550. Alright? And then what we do next? Since we have 1 decimal place, I'm going to move the point 1 decimal place inwards, so it would be 165. Alright, that's one option. Or you just go back to exactly what we were doing before and simply say, okay, since I have 550 times 0.30, this is, think of this as 30%. So I find 10%, which would be what? Moving 1 place to the left, right? That's 55, that's 10%. So 30% multiplied by 3, and that will give me my answer as well, 165. Some person might just say what? Okay, I will try to see how many times. Oh, 1 second. Let me see if we can get another clean page. Bam, bam, bam. 1 second. I can just write here. Never mind. So I can say, well, how much times 55? How many 200 meter cube can I get out of 55,000? That's another way of doing it. How many 200 meters cube can we get out of it, right? We can do that, right, guys? How many times 200 meters cube can enter what? 55,000. And you cancel this out, cancel this out. They cancel this out, cancel this out, cancel this out, cancel this out. And you can divide that into it, right? Okay. So, I mean, you can do this several ways. 2 goes, let's try this. 550 divided by 2. 2 into 7 goes once. 2 into 5 goes what times? How many times 2 goes into 5? 2, remainder what? 1. Alright, so that's 150, right? 2 goes into 15 how many times? 7. Because 2 7 is 14, right? Remainder 1. Put the 1 by the 0. 2 goes into 10 how many times? 5 times. And then you're going to have 275 and you multiply that by 60 cents. Alright, so let's do that then. I mean, that's one route. Ready? How will you do this? How will you do this? How do you multiply that by 60 cents? You see, I don't really like these figures here in a multiple choice question. Because people tend to make mistakes. Right? So what I will do at this juncture, right? This is what I'll do, guys. I will simply do this, right? I'm not finding my keys. Okay, 1 second. Draw, erase. So what I'll do here, let me show you. All I will do is this. I mean, I could do it the long way, but it'll take a long process. When I get the answer to this, I'll multiply by what? 60 cents, right? So I'll just work it out like that. When I get the answer to this, I multiply by 60 cents. So you know what? It's easy for me to do this. Divide by 100, divide by 100. I said 2 into 2 goes once, and I said 2 into 60 cents give me what? 30 cents. And I'm back on track with this. And so I'll say 550 times 0.30. Oh, these cancel off, right? And 150 times that again is 10, find 10%, 55. Because remember, this is actually 10 cents times 3, right? Which is saying 10% times 3. So I find 10% of the 550, which is 55, then multiply by 3, which gives me the 165. I think this is a little faster, but you have to know that you have to divide. You see how many 200 meters cubed we can get out of what? 55,000. Because every 200 meter cube you get from 55,000, you're paying 60 cents. So you just simply multiply, and that will give you the 165. And then you're going to add the fixed amount to the 165. Oh, yeah, that's an option. You're saying that you prefer that method? Okay. Yeah. Remember, there are different methods. It's just whatever you consider faster or easier for you. Alright. The next one. A car presently valued at 12,000. What's the answer for this one? A? Okay. So what we can do, a car presently valued 12,000 depreciates at a rate of 10% per annum. So the cost what? 12,000? And it loses a value of what? 10% every year, right? Let's multiply by 10. Well, multiply by 10%. So it'll be 10 over 100, isn't it? But 10%, do we need to do? We don't need to do all that. We can just, because it's 10%, remember the trick, what we do? One place to the left, and what do we get? 1,200. 1,200. 1,200. So this is the amount it depreciates by, correct? What would be the value of the car though? Remember, this is the depreciation amount, you know, not the value of the car. So it'd be 12,000, and take off the amount the amount of value that comes off. It'd be 0, 0. Take away 1 from that, put it on that, give you what? 2 from 10 give you 8. 1 from 1. And carry the 1 there. So it's 10,800. So the answer is A. So everybody got that, right? Okay. Next one. Number 19. You want some time to write that one? Do that one? I did it already. So number 19, a dinner at a restaurant was advertised as $60 plus 18%. So our answer is going to be $60 plus 18% tax, right? So let's keep that in mind. So what we need to do is find out what the 18% is. So we're going to find 18% of what? The $60, right? So we can say,
10% is 6.
okay, so we can find 10%, 5%. You can break it up with so many different parts. Let's see. 10%. What else can we find? 5%, right? If you know 10%, you know 5%. You can find 1% and then multiply 1% by what? By 3 to get what? 3%. So let's try. What's 10%? What's 10% of 60? Move the point how many places to the left? 1 place to the left. 6. What if 10% is 6? What is 5%? 3, which is half, ain't it? Okay, what's 1%? How many places to the left you have to move? Let's look at 100%. To get 10%, we move 1 place to the left, right? To get 1%, we move 1 place to the left. 2 places, correct? Okay, somebody didn't understand that. Let me go over that one more time again. You have 100%, guys. To get 10%, you move 1 place to the left, and that's 10%, correct? If you move 2 places to the left, how much percent is that? 1%. The point would be after the 1 now. So now, so just remember that. Moving 2 places to the left is 1%. Give us 1%. So we have $60. I move 2 places to the left. How much will that give us? 0.6, right? So we have 0.6, and we need to multiply it by 3 to get what? 3%? So what is 0.6 times 3? 3 times 6 is what? 18 point, and 3 times 0 is 0 plus 1? 1.8. So we have 1.8. So what's the answer going to be? 3.0, 3.0. What's the answer going to be? $10.80, right? But so it's 6. So remember, the answer is not just that, you know. It must be what? The $60 plus the 10.80. I mean, no, mistake. Yeah, did it the wrong way. So 0. 8 plus 6 is what? It's $60, isn't it? Oh gosh, I'm putting 60 cents.
It's 70 point.
Yeah. So it can be what? 0, 8, 0, 7. $70.80. Alright, so the answer is B. Anybody have that?
Yes.
Let's go back to the group. Okay. So the answer for 19 is A. But somebody might say, okay, let's try it another way. B, I mean, sorry, yes. Let's try it another way. If 30% is $50, right? What is 3%? I bet you're gonna like it. if 30% is $50, what's 3%? Come on.
I don't know.
That's really easy. How do you move from 30 to 3? You divide by 10, you know. Divide by 10. To move from 30 to 3, divide by 10, right, guys? Let's go. To move from 30 to 3, you divide by what? By 10. So you divide by 10 on both sides, right? Divide by 10. So when you divide 50 by 10, what do you get? What do you get, guys? Talk to me now. 5. I want to make sure you guys are following. Listen to what I'm not saying. Having your own conversations. Alright? I need you all to see this, so it's easy for you guys to figure out stuff fast. Okay, if 40% is equal to $61, what's 4%? That should be, you can do that quickly. 6.1, right? I put down the 0 at the end since it's money. How y'all got that? Move the point, dividing by 10 is like 10%. So move point 1 place to the left, you get 4. Move 1 place to the left, you get what? 6.1. Stacia, you got that now, right?
Okay.
She lock off her mind to that boy. Okay. One last one. 55% gives you 55% give you $38. What would 5.5% give you? What would 5.5% give you?
5.1. No. That's 0.0. Is it?
Y'all give me the answer already.
Oh.
You move the point one place inward, divided by 10 in other words, to get 5.5. So you have to do the same thing to the currency. And what would you get? 3.8. Yeah.
Oh. I know I went crazy.
Anyways, let's go down to the next one. Use whatever method you're comfortable with, right?
First method.
Yeah. I go for the shortest ways. Once I find a short way, I stick into it. Alright. A store offers a discount of 10% to customers who spend more than $20. So the question is, this customer, did he spend more than $20? Did he spend more than So did he spend more than $20? So is he gonna get a 10% discount? Okay. So what's 10% discount of the money he spent?
It's gonna be 8.
What's 10% of this? Easy stuff.
8.0.
Right? 8.0. 100% is $80.
Yeah.
So 10% is the same thing we're doing now. The money he spent is 100%. So you just move the point what? One place to the left, right? To get 10%?
Yeah.
So you move 1 point to the left, place to the left, and get what? $8. See, we put 2 zeros.
Yeah.
8.00.
Oh, now in this question.
So therefore now, but is that the amount he spent though?
No.
No. He pays? No. He pays what? $80 less or more than 80? Is he gonna spend pay less? It's a discount. So we have to subtract, right? So subtract the $8,
72.
put on the zeros to this guy, and what's gonna be? What's 80 minus 8? Right. You can say borrow 1, here get a 10. You're gonna get 2, 72. Some person may decide to do it this way. Some person might decide to do it this way. They will say, okay, what percentage did he pay? What percentage did he pay? Did he pay the full 100%? No. He paid 90%. Everybody agree with that? He paid what, guys? 90%, isn't it? How did he pay 90%? Okay, the 100% was reduced by? So you can say, well, a quicker way of finding it is finding 90%. 90% of what? Of what? 80. So what you can do first? In order to find 90%, you can go what? What you can go first? 10%, and then multiply the 10% by 9. So what's 10% of this? 8. That's 10%, right? And find 90%, you multiply the 10% by 9. And 8 nines, 72. Options. Or you can just put 90 over 100 times 80. And what are you going to do here? Divide by 10, get 10. Divide by 10, get 8. Divide by 10, get 1. Divide by 10, get 9. And 9 eighths, 72. Anybody did this way at all?
First one.
So anyway choose. Let's go over to the algebra. You guys did already. What's the answer for 22?
No, it's not 21. Yeah, 21.
Okay, let's check this one. So we have the expression square root of m cubed minus n squared. What's m? 5. That's the first one, right? What's n? 2. So if it's square of 25 minus 4, which is equal to what? The square of what? What's 4 from 25? I did something wrong? Oh yes, I did. 5 is 5 cubed. It's not 5 squared. So it's 5 times 5 times 5. Thank you. I did that wrong, boy. I got that multiple choice wrong. But the option wouldn't there, so it would be there. So guess what? I'll do what? Go back and check and say, wait, did I make a mistake? But CXC wasn't thinking here. No? If they put square root of 21, I would have gotten it wrong. So let's do it. What is 5 cubed? 5 times 5 times 5, right? Which is what? 5 is 25, so 25 times 5 give us 125. So that should be 125 minus 4, which is what? 121. Is there a number when you square 121? What's square root of 121? 11. Should you leave the answer as 11 or square root of 11? Just 11. Because square root is an operation. The square root of 121 is 11, so you can't put the square root. If you put the square root of 11, that means you have to find, you will never stop finding square roots. Keep on putting back the square root symbol, then you will never stop. So the answer is just what? 11. Do it another way? Tell me, what are you saying? Are you singing a song? Math song, okay, nice. Alright, let's look at this one. 23. How are you gonna do this one? Distributive law, right? No, you can do two things here, guys. You can take the options and put it where x is, and then see if you could get 7. That's one option. If you don't really like to use distributive law, you're struggling with signs. So let's try. Which number would you put there first? Let's try 9. 9 minus 1 is what? What's 9 minus 1? 8. So it's 3 times 8 minus 2 times. What's the same 9, right? What's 9 minus 1? Same 8 again, right? So let's try. 3 8s is what? 24? And 2 8s is what? 16? 24 minus 16, does that give us 7? Does that give us 7? No, that will give us 8, isn't it? 16 plus 4 is 20, plus another 4 is 24, so that'll be 8. So we fall short, so it can't be 8. So the answer is either 1 less than 8 or 1 higher than 8. Obviously, it will be 1 higher, 1 higher, 1 lower. Can't be higher, must be lower, right? Okay, yeah, that's right. 1 lower. So you have to be C. Let's try C. What C is? So 8 minus 1 is what? And 7 again, right? This makes it easy because x minus 1, x minus 1. 3 7s, 21. 2 7s, 14. That looks like the 7 times table. 7 1, 7, 7 2 is 14, 7 3 is 21. So obviously the difference is going to be what? 7. But is this a short way, or do you find working it out might be a shorter way? Okay, let's work it out. 3 times x is what, guys? What's 3 times x? 3x. What's negative 2 times x? Negative 2x. Alright? Which should give us what? 3x minus 2x will give us x, isn't it? What's 3 times negative 1? Negative 3, right? What's negative 2 times negative 1? Positive? No, multiplying. 2 ones? 2. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay, negative 3 plus 2. What sign are you going to keep? Sign of the 3 or the 2? So negative. And it's going to be what? If 5 or 1. If the signs are different, what do you do? Signs are different, you subtract. Signs are the same, you add. You have to remember that. Same sign, sum. Different signs, difference. So you have to remember that. Okay, so it says x minus 1 equals 7. And here, at this point, you can just simply say, okay, what number do I put as x to give me 7? What minus 1 give me 7? 8. So 8 has to be the answer C. Or you can just transpose it, and x is equal to 7 plus 1, x equal 8. Alright? Somebody else might say, boy, it's a waste of time you're doing it and going through all this. Alright? Somebody might say, you know what, I could have done this all along. Alright. Somebody might say, you know what, why not just do this? 3 times x is 3x, 3 times negative 1 is negative 3, negative 2x, positive 2 equals 7. Group the like terms together. 3x minus 2x minus 3 plus 2 equals 7. 3x minus 2x is 1x. A negative 3 plus 2 is negative 1 equals 7. Transpose x equals 7 plus 1, x equal 8. You don't remember how to do this? It's just root of love. 3 times x is 3x, 3 times 1 is 3, but negative 3. 2 times x is 2x, 2 times 1 is 2. Just have to remember the signs. Huh? Stick with the first one? Okay, no problem. What about you guys in the group? Which method do you prefer? Which method do you prefer? Stacia, Rihanna, I'm not sure who all is there still. So again, for this one, you multiply the negative by a negative, give positive, so positive 2q minus 3q. So it's positive 2 minus 3. And keep the sign of the bigger number when you subtract. Different sign you subtract, get 1, keep the 3. Keep this negative because we have more negative than positive. So keep the sign of the 3, give a negative. Negative 1q, which is negative q. So moving on to number 25 and 26. Again, p minus q. You don't have p minus q. Two vectors, right? In the form of matrix, 2 by 1 matrix. 3, 7. What's the other one? Negative 2, 5. Okay, how are you going to do this? You sub. The top row, I mean, the 3. So it's 3 minus negative 2. Right? What's 3 minus negative 2? And this is 7 minus 5. So it's 7 minus 5, 3 minus.
It'll be 5.
When you subtract the negative, what do you get? So it'll be
Positive.
3 plus 2. What's 7 minus 2? 7 minus 5? 2. So it'll be 5. Don't use it over because you might be tempted to put a plus. 5, 2, right? Well, that would be for paper 2. There's no more paper 2, so I know you are very disappointed, but no more paper 2. 28. Let's go to 28. Let's go. Alright, so we have this, right? This is an example, not the one we're doing on the left hand side, but let's go from D to B. So what we know so far though, that going from D to A, right? Going from D to A, as you can see by the arrow, that going from D to A is what? D to A is what? U, right? Vector U. And going from A to V is equal to what? A to B, sorry.
B.
A to B, A to B. A to B is what? V. Alright, so if we want to go from D to B, we can go from what? D to what? D to
A.
A. Because we can't just travel along D to B because we don't have the V and U there. So what we're going to do, we're going to go from D to A, and then from A to what? B. Because we have the direction in terms of U and
U
V
plus.
So D to A plus A to B. Alright? So the center point is it's like I want to go from Antigua to New York. It's like a transit point. You go from what? Antigua to what first? Plane usually go from what? Antigua to what? There's travel. Miami. Sometimes, well, let's say you go from Antigua to Miami, and then from Miami to New York. Alright? Or sometimes coming back from a country, like say probably, I don't know, England, I don't know. You go from there to Barbados, then Barbados to Antigua. So it's like a transit point. So it is like the transit point, right? You're going from D to A, and then from A to B. What is from D to A? What is from D to A? It's U. D to A is U plus what is A to B? V. So that's the vector, u plus v. So we just wrote it in terms of u plus v. If it's going to be the reverse, it's going to be this, negative u plus v. Because just negate it. So it'd be negative u minus v. Or we can say the negative of u plus v. Clear? Let me see if I can. EF. Let's go over this again. E to F. Right? E to this F here. And H to G. They are parallel. So I can put this arrow on them, right? And also what? They're parallel and they have the same vector. They're the same vector in other words. So if EF is K, EG is also what? K. Oh, HG, sorry. EF is K, then HG is also K. Everybody get that? Because they're parallel and they're heading in the same direction. Once they're parallel, they're heading in the same direction anyway. Well, unless it's opposite direction. K could be parallel and heading in opposite direction. But they're parallel and heading in the same direction. And they're also the same length. How we know is that they're the same length? Because parallelograms, the opposite sides have the same length and they're also parallel. So again, the opposite sides will be the same vector. So EF is actually equal to HG, which is equal to K. Alright, so if we want to go from E to G, if we want to go from E to what? To G, we can go from what? By the way, let me ask you guys, what's F to G? M as well, yeah, M. How we know that?
Because it's
The opposite side, EH, is parallel to FG. Alright, so there is also M. And heading in the same direction, so they're the same vector. If they're heading in the opposite direction and parallel, one will be the negative of the other. So let's go. We want to go from E to G. We can take two routes. We can go from E to what? H and H to. Or we can go from E to and then F to. Right. So where you want to go? E to? E to? You want to go to E to F? Sure. And then what? And then?
G? E to G?
No, E to F
F to G, sorry.
and F to G. Yeah, remember you stop at F now, so you have to go from F now to G. What's E to F? K. And what's F to G? M. If you had done it the other way, it would be the same thing. E to H would be what? Let's say you're gone. If you say you want to go E to G, you could have said what? E to H and then H to G. Yeah, let's see. E to H is what? And H to G is what? Right. K plus M and M plus K, same thing. Remember that way you add doesn't matter? 5 plus 2 and 2 plus 5, same value.
Well, as you see, there's two options. We have the multiplication with minus. How do you change the signs?
Because they're the wrong answers, right?
Oh.
What our answer is?
Oh. So it's K plus M.
Right. I mean, you could have that situation, but based on what we're looking at here, it's not going to be. I mean, CXC could decide to change up the question like that and ask you that. For instance, if they'd ask you to find, if they asked you to find G to H, what the answer would have been? G to E. G to E.
G to E
Yeah.
would be K such a M. Yeah.
Let's see. What I noticed with the multiple choice, now they're not really making so much. They're changing the multiple choice questions by signs. Let's G to E. G to E we said, right? So we're gonna go from what? G to H, and then what? And then H to E. So what's G to H? No. G to H is not K.
G to H?
Yeah.
No, it'll be G subtract.
No, G to H. What's G to H? Negative K.
That was saying that. I said G subtract K H.
No, that's not the same. That's not the same.
The answer that I'm looking for is simply negative K. I asked what is GH? This was my question. You probably gave me the whole answer. I'm asking what is G to H?
Negative
Negative k. How do we know it's negative k?
Because you're going back.
We're going the opposite way of h to g. H to g is what? Positive k. Because based on the arrow, we say h to g is k. Therefore, going the opposite direction. Guys, understand that?
Yeah.
Look at it, son. Going this way is k. So going this way, which is the same length and they're parallel, must be what? Negative k. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Plus, what's e to h? E to h. E to h is what's e to h?
It's M.
E to h is what?
M.
M. So what's the going the opposite way?
Negative M.
Negative m. And if you want to write that better, you can write it as what? Negative k. And this become what? Minus, right?
Yeah.
Minus m.
Yeah. Okay.
So you see they have an answer for that in there?
Yeah.
D, right? It's the same thing as negative m minus k. Right? Negative k minus m is the same as negative m minus k.
Yeah.
Yeah, g to e. G to e. E to g though is the opposite. M plus k. Or k plus m, yeah. The answer is really a. But we're just saying, what if they'd ask us for the opposite? Which is ge. Yeah. You know what they could ask you? They could say something like, if mh is equals to, look at this guys, k minus m. What is h to m? What if they give you that? What would be your answer be?
H to M.
If mh, vector mh is k minus m, what is vector hm?
Is it K plus M? K plus M? K plus M?
K plus m? No, not k plus m, no. Mm-mm.
Wait.
It will be the negative of k minus m.
I was going to.
Right? It will be the opposite of that. So what? So give me your answer. Go ahead. Give me your answer.
Huh?
Give me your answer.
So it'd be negative K.
Negative k.
And then negative. So it'd be
Positive m. Yes.
I got it right.
So all you're gonna do is just change the signs from the original. The k will become negative and the m will become positive.
Okay.
Follow, guys? Because mh, vector mh, is what? The negative of vector hm. I think I wrote this wrong. mh. Everybody's clear?
Yeah.
Let's do this one, guys. 29. 29. We're wrapping up. 29. How do you do 29? 5xy is equal to 4, 10, 20. Do that one. I do this one. Simple stuff. Come on. Work it out. It's a long way though. 5 times x is what? 5x. And 5 times y is 5y. And what is we're gonna get? 4 times 10 is what? 40. And 4 times 20 is 80. And I'm gonna say 5x equals 40. Right? When two matrices are equal, the corresponding entries are also equal. Which means 5x corresponds to what? 40, so they're equal. And when you work them out, you're gonna get what? X equal what? X equal 8. And since x equal 8 is the only option, since b has x equal 8, is the only one that has 8, then b is the answer, obviously. But we can always double check by putting 5y equals 80 divided by 5, and we're gonna get y equals 5 and 5 goes once. Into 8 goes what? Once. Remainder 3. Put the 3 by the 0. 5 into 30 goes 6 times. So that's 16. Y equals 16. Which method do you all prefer? This one or the previous one? Previous one? Okay.
Any method where it can be less anything.
You find out the previous one was less work? What was the previous one again? What did we see? We said 40 and 20, right? And 80, right? By multiplying the 4 on each quantity inside the bracket. And 5 times what will give us 40? And you said what? 8? And 5 times what will give us 80? Alright. But obviously, we selected 8 because we know that. But the y, I don't think you guys will just come up with 16 just like that. So I think it's from the fact that 8 and 16. B is the only one with 8. So that's why you know that this will be 16. Alright, let's move on to note the other one. I know you guys are tired and you guys probably saying it's time to end class. Alright, 30. What's 30? So we row off the first matrix. So split the first one in rows. Next one in what? Columns? And then one row by one column give us one entry, right? So let's go. We're going to say what? So now we're looking at row 1 times column 1. Row 1 times column 1 should give us. So row 1 times column 1. We'll go right here, right? Row 1, column 1. Row 1, column 2. Row 2, column 1. Row 2, column 2. Make sense? Okay, so let's go. We're in what? Row 1, right? So row 1 times column 1. So it's 1 times 3. And what's 1 times 3? 3. But we're not finished with the row. 1 on column 1. Plus 3 times what? 2? Give us what? 6. Then negative 3 times 0 is what? 0, right? Now we're finished multiplying row 1 by what? Column 1. So the answer is going to be what? What's the answer is going to be? 9. So 3 plus 6 plus 0 is? 9. So put down 9 here. Okay. So now let's One second, try it. Why does not allow me to delete the... Okay. Alright, never mind. So we're gonna say now row 1 by column 2 now, right?
Yeah.
So our answer is gonna go here. Same row, but second column. So row 1 times column 2. So it's gonna be what?
0 plus 3.
No, 1 times 0, which is 0.
0, yes.
Plus 3 times what? 1?
Is 3.
3. And negative, go ahead. No, negative 3 times 5. Give us what? Negative 50. Okay. So we have 0 plus 3 plus negative 15. What answer going to be? Negative 12. Because that's going to be 3 minus 15, and the signs are different, so subtract and keep sign of the 15. Negative 12.
One option that has 9 or negative 12.
Is only one option with negative 9 and negative 12?
Yes.
Which option is that? I like that. Fast thinking.
Okay.
Don't spend your time working on the others.
Yeah.
Okay, but just in case there was another one. Just in case. We're gonna go down to what? Row 2, right? Let's go to row 2 and column 1. Let's go down to row 2 and column 1. So we're gonna say what? So we're gonna say 3 times 3, 9, plus 0 times 2, 0, plus 5 times 0 is what? 0. It's gonna be 9. So 9 plus 0 plus 0 plus 0, 9. Let's do the last one. Same row 2, right? Okay, so let's do that one. I'm gonna use a different color this time. Let's use blue. So it'll be what?
3 times 0.
So 3 times 0, 0 plus
0 times
0.
5 times
5 times 5.
is
25. So all that will work out to be
8.
25, right?
Yes.
And so our answer is?
8.
Oh boy. Our answer worked out to be E. Wherever that is. Disappeared. Okay, so answer is A, guys. Alright, what we do? We're stopping here. I want to go up to 1 o'clock. Yeah, let's try these then. Let's continue. You can stop at 1. Hmm? No problem. Alright, the volume of a cube whose edge is 6 centimeters long is what? How do you find the volume of a cube? How do you find the volume of a cube? A cube is like an ice cube. All the faces have the same area. All the faces are congruent. So the length times the width times the height are all equal. Right? Right? So I mean the length. Well, let's assume that this is the length. All right, take here the width and height. Right? They're all the same measurement. So if you want to find the volume of a cuboid, it's going to be what? Length times width times height, right? Now, the length and the width and height, they're all the same measurement. So let's call the length. Let's say the length has a measure of S, right? W will also be equal to S, and R, and the height will also be equal to what? S. So it's really what? S cubed. Right? Why is S cubed? Because they're all the same measurement. Length times width. So in other words, what is the edge? The length of the edge is basically, what's the edge? Like that's a cliff, right? Right? Something running you and you want to run off the cliff, jump off the cliff. This is the edge of the cliff, or the edge of your bed. Alright? When two faces meet, that side is called when two faces, this is a face, right? Right, Keandre? And this is also what? A face as well, right? And they meet at what? The edge. Right, this is an edge. So the length of the edge, they say, is what? 6. So this is 6. In other words, this is 6 as well. 6. This length is 6. This length is 6. And this height is also what? 6. So 6 times, no. 6 cubed means what? What 6 cubed means? 6 times 6 times 6, yeah. 6, 36 times 6. And 36 times 6 is what? 216? Well, let's check. 36 times 6. 36. 6 3 is 18. And 18 plus 3 is what? You guys have to be joking, alright? What is 6 times 36?
6 times 36
6 6
is
36. That's how we got the 36 in the first place. 6 6 36. So now we multiply 36 by 6, but we still have to say 6 6 36 again. 6 3 is 18 plus 3 21. Okay? So the answer is
221.
D. Okay, let's look at the next one. 32. What's the answer for 32? If it took a speedboat 9 hours to travel a distance of 1,080 kilometers, what is its average speed? You know how to calculate that one? Okay, speed is equal to what? Give me the formula for speed. Give me the speed of a car. Anything. Say something. A car is traveling at 96 miles per division line hour, right? What do we call the miles? Distance. What do we call the hour? Time. Just try to know how to remember it. Okay? Like 96 miles per, which is division 9, hour. So okay, so what's the distance they gave us? 1,000. And what's the time? 9 hours. Alright, so you have to just simplify that now. 9 into 108. That should be easy. But knowing the 9 times table will help here. If not, then you could say 9 into 10 goes what? Simplify that. Simplify that. That should be easy. Are you guys still there?
Yeah.
Okay. Thought you left us station. Okay. Well, this one is a distance over time, and the distance was 1,080. The time was 9 hours, and we divide that, we get 120. That's the speed. Okay, so next one now is what? 200, sorry, not 200. 2,500 millimeters expressed in meters is what? What milli means? Milli means? Milli, 1,000th. But you get that? So it means what? Millimeters means what? 1,000th of a meter, right? So 1 millimeter is the same thing as saying the milli means what? 1,000th. So we can put milli here instead. 1,000th. Got it, guys? If we don't want 1,000 but want 1,000, that would be what? Kilometers. Understand? Yeah, I mean 1,000 meter, but we want 1,000th, so we use milli. So if we have 2,500 millimeters, it will be what? 2,500, right? Millimeters. So what we're gonna do that? It'd be what? So you're gonna divide by 1,000, right? And divide by 1,000. Right. So we're gonna multiply by, so it's gonna be 2,500 times 1 over what? 1,000. Alright? And that will give us the corresponding meters. So what the answer will be? Yeah. So you could just simply think of this like this is the 2,500 here, right? Times and the milli right here, and the meters right there. Clear? Yeah. 2,500 times the milli, which is 1 over 1,000 times milli. Okay, so everybody get that? And what the answer will be? Okay, so we can just simply do this. Put over 1. Oops. The 1,000 will cancel out. But if you divide, well, we can't cancel out 1,000 in this, but instead of what we can do, this is going to be what? It'll be 2,500 divided by 1,000 basically. So if you divide them by 1,000, how many places you can move the decimal point? How many zeros you have?
3.
When divided by 10, we move how many places backward? Once. Divided by 100.
Twice.
By 100 we move it what? Once, twice. When divided by 1,000, 1, 2, 3. Okay? So we're gonna move it what? 1, 2, 3. Yeah, 2.5 meters. So milli means 1,000th. So so you don't have to do all this. This is just me explaining all that to you. Just remember milli means what? 1,000th. So you're gonna divide by 1,000. Either gonna multiply or divide, but obviously you're gonna divide. Okay, going from a small to a large quantity. It takes you a lot of the small to give you a big. Got it? Got it? You give you you need a lot of small blocks to build up a one house. Yeah. So divide by 1,000. And you move your point 3 places inwards, right? Okay. If it was centimeters, what would you do? Divide by what? To meters, yeah. You divide by what? Centi means what? 100th. In this case. Centimeters, yeah. 100th per meter. Centimeter means 100th of a meter. Alright, so if a centimeter means 100th of a meter. Now, an aircraft leaves A at 16 hours and arrives at B. So point A, reach B at what? It leaves at 16 hours. I don't know why they give these things, you know. We don't really we don't use those in our parts of the world. But I guess if you travel to a different country, they use it. It might be valuable. At an average speed of what? What's the speed? Speed is equal to what again? Distance over time. And what it gave us? What's the speed it gave us? 550 kilometers, right? Over what? Per hour? Per hour. Okay. You remember they gave us 55 before? 550 before? When we were doing some calculations? The 60 cents and the 55,000, we calculate down to 550. So there must be something why they keep using these kind of numbers. Must be a shortcut. Anyways, A and B are in the same time zone. The distance from A to B in kilometers. What's the distance from A to B? Well, we have the what? What we have so far? We have the speed, right? We have the speed. What's the speed? Let's substitute. What's the speed, guys? What's the speed? 550 kilometers per hour, right? Is equal to what's the distance? We don't know. What's the time given? What's the difference in time? How long it took? From 16 hours to 19 hours and 30 minutes. Yeah, how much time that? From 16 hours to 17 hours is how much time? 1 hour? Guys, you can subtract 19 minus 16. Subtract that to what y'all get. 0, No. 3. 6 from 9? Right. So that's 3 hours and 30 minutes, right? That's 3 hours and 30 minutes. Alright. So, let me see something there. The distance in kilometers is going to be what? I'm trying to figure out what's the best to do this, approach this question. Okay. The time is actually 3 hours and 30 minutes. So we can actually put it in what? We can put it in hours, right? How do you write 3 hours and 30 minutes in hours? Yeah, in hours. 3 hours and 30 minutes in hours. 3 hours with 3. And 30 minutes in hours is what? How do you convert half? 3.5 or 3.5. Very good. Everybody understand why?
Because
30 minutes is half an hour. Or you can just put 30 over 60. If you have 60 minutes, how do you convert that to an hour? 60 over 60, right? 60 minutes over 60 minutes. But because you only have 30 minutes over 60 minutes, it ends up being what? 3 and 3 goes once, that is half. So any minutes you have and you want to convert it to hours, just divide by 60. So 3.5 hours. So we're going to multiply now, ain't it? Yeah. If this is confused, don't worry about that. I'm going to take off the units from it. So it's going to be 550, okay? 550. This is going to be, I can put it back, kilometers per hour, right? And this is going to be what? Hours. Now when you cross multiply, what will happen? Let's cross multiply. D times, I didn't even put that, It'd be this, let's cross multiply. I think this is best like that. Put this over 1. D times 1 is D. And 3.5 times 550 will give us what? What will that give us? This is ours, right? This is ours, and this is 550 km over h. The h will cancel out, leaving you with km for the distance, kilometers. What is 3.5 times 550? It should be easy. What is 3 times 550? What's 3 times 550? Don't use a calculator, son. Really? 550 plus 550 plus 550 if you want to do it like that. What would that give you? Right, that'll give you 0, 15, right? 16, isn't it? 1650. Huh?
It's not multiplying.
Oh yeah, we're multiplying we're multiplying the 3 by 550, and then we're going to multiply the 50 by the half. We're just trying a fast way of doing it. What's 3 times 550? 1650, right? What's half of 550? You can find half of 500, right? This 5 is 500, which is 250. And then find half of 50, which is what? 25? And what do you get? 5. 10 will be 12, right? It'll be 19. 1. 119, 250, 25, D here. I mean, some people might not want to go through all that and just simply do this. 550 times 2.5. How you get 3.5? We're going to do that now. Let's do that. Let's do it this way. 5 times 0 is what? What's 5 times 0? 5 fives? 25. 5 fives again, 25. Plus 2, 27. Let's multiply by 3 this time. 3 times 0 is 0. So start here, right? Since you start in one place, after the 5, you're going to start one place inwards. So 3 times 0 is 0. 3 5s, 15. 3 5s, 15 and 1. 16, right? Okay, let's add these now. Be 0, 5, 12, 6 plus 2, 8, and 1, 9. Carry the 1 here. Now, you have one decimal place, right? 1 dp. This has 0 dp. So you're going to count them up, which are going to be 1 dp still. 1 plus 0 is 1. So in other words, when you add these together, you're going to get 1 dp. So your answer should be 1 decimal place. You can move the point 1 place inwards, and I get 1925. Alright? So you understand how to do that? Make sure you know how to do that. Multiply these kind of numbers like that. But I find just like multiplying by 3, finding half of it, half of 500, because 5 represents 500, and this 5 represents 50. So finding half of 500, 250. Finding half of 50 is 25. Alright? And we already know the 3 times 550 is 1650. When you add them together, 1925. So either option, same answer. Okay, the last one. We're not going any further than this. 35. In a rectangular garden plot, 15 meters long, and so I just probably just do something like this. 15 meters long. How wide? 12 meters, right? And what's the area? Oh, an area of 80 meters is used. What area of the plot is not used for vegetation? That's easy. So we assume that this part here is 80, right? 80 meters cubed. What is this part here? That's not used for vegetation. What's that part that was not used for vegetable gardening? Still grassy. Well, we can find the area of 15 times 12. That's a popular one. I know the answer to that. That's 180. See, you know it by heart? Yeah, Yeah, 15 times 12. That's something that comes up a lot for some reason or the other. And subtract, yeah. The whole thing, the entire area is 180. So therefore you subtract the 80 from that and I get 100. I had a class yesterday that 15 times 12 came up. It's interesting. But how do you work it out though? 15 times 12. You can do it like distributive law. You can split up the 15 into what? 3 and 10, right? 5 and 10, sorry. 5 and 10. And multiply it by 12. Ready? 12 times 10 is what? 120, right? Let's put on the 0 at the end of the 12. And if 12 times 10 is 120, then 12 times 5, which is half of 10, must be half of 60. That's going to give us 180. Got it? Okay, so we know that. And then we say what? So the whole thing is 180, but how much of this 180 meters squared is used for vegetable gardening? 80. 80. So subtract it to find out what is not used. 100 meters cubed, yeah. That one was too easy, I expected it to last a little longer, so let's do 36 then. What it says here, a distance around a lake is 8, right? Around the lake. What's the distance around the lake? Distance around the lake is what? Going around this lake, what's the distance? 8 kilometers, right? But realize distance around the circle is what? What's the area? What's the length or distance around a circle? We call it circumference. How do we find the circumference? 2 pi r. It's going to be on the formula sheet in the multiple choice exam. I wonder how they're going to do that with multiple choice. That'd be interesting. Probably go back to the front page or something. If it's going to be online. Anyways. Yeah. So C is equal to 2 pi r, right guys? That's the formula, isn't it? They most likely. Since you've been doing this, they haven't done any multiple choice exam yet? You have to be able to work things out. They don't have to be mad. No. No. They will have those. They probably will have those things for you. Yeah. So let's go back to this, guys. Just in case you don't give it, how do you find the area of a circle? Pi r squared. And so for the circumference is similar. Just put the 2. Just bring the 2 to the left, and it becomes what? 2 what? 2 pi. No. You bring it. You move it. So 2 pi r. So that's a distance around the circle. I mean, that's how I memorized them when I was back in school. I know the area, so to find the circumference, I move the 2 to the side, and it's 2 pi r. The square is no longer there. Okay, so that means the distance. So what's the length of the circle? 8 kilometers, right? Because it's distance around a lake, ain't it? A lake is a circle, right? Right? Well, assuming. They should have said something like it's a circular lake or so. But I guess the lake is really a circle. Okay, and so what is the what is it? 8 kilometers. So I'm going to replace C with 8 and put 2 pi r. What is it? What they told us now? I start this question without even working. I start this question without realizing what they're asking. Okay, so I have to start back. But what I was showing you there would have been something else. Would have been useful in case they ask you. By the way, let's continue what I was showing you a while ago. 8 equal 2 pi r. What would be the length of the radius? So if you want to find the radius, divide by 2 pi, right? Divide by 2 pi. And that will be what? R equals... it will be what? 22 goes once, and 28 goes what? 4, so it will be 4 over pi. And they will leave the answer like that for you to choose from. Okay, just in case they ask something like that. But this one is not going to be necessary for us to work this out. Because what they're basically saying is that, look, right? This actual distance is 8 kilometers. So you don't need the formula. But they're saying on the map, it's represented by what? 2 centimeters? So it's 2 centimeters representing what? Representing what? 8 kilometers. So you know what? The scale on the map is going to be what? So what we need to do, guys, we need to convert the 8 kilometers into what? Centimeters. So it's 2 centimeters to what? 8 what? But 8, we need to find 8 kilometers into centimeters. So how are we going to do that? Okay, 8,000 will give us what? What kilo means? 1,000, right? So 8 kilometers actually means 8,000. Because kilo means 1,000. 8,000 meters. Now we need to convert the 8,000 meters now to what? To centimeters. To centimeters. And centi in this case, right? Since we're going to have to multiply by 100. Right? We have to multiply by 100. Because maybe meters is bigger than centimeters, you know. So 8,000 meters will give you a lot more than 8,000 centimeters. Understand? Got it? Yeah. So we multiply by what? 100. Alright? Everybody get it? Alright. So it'd be what? 8,000 times 100 is what? What's 8,000 times 100? 8,000 times 100 is what? It can't be 80,000. What's 8 times 1? 8. And put on all the zeros. The 2 zeros here.
800,000.
800,000, yeah. Who's that? Alright. And now, so guys, the 2 centimeters to what? 800,000 centimeters, okay? Remember that 8 kilometers is 800,000 centimeters, right? So we need to now simplify this. Cancel off the centimeters. 2 into 2 goes what? Once. And 2 goes into the 8 what? 4. Put down the zeros. So the answer is going to be what? D. Is there another way we could have done this? The 8 kilometers? Let's see. 8 kilometers multiplied by, I want to cancel off kilometers, right? So I'm going to put kilometers below. So kilometers can cancel off kilometers. Let me show you. Hope you all are paying attention to this. See, I cancel it off? But kilometers, I'm going to convert though. Look at this, guys. We're finishing up now. Right? How can we convert kilometers? We're going to convert kilometers to meters first, okay? What's the relationship? 1 kilometer is equal to what? 1,000 meters. Everybody follow that? So we have 8 kilometers and want to convert it to meters. We know that 1 kilometer is what? 1,000 meters. Because kilo means 1,000. So 1,000 meters. I put the kilometers below simply because I want to cancel off the what? The kilometers. Okay? Now, but I also want to cancel off meters because I want centimeters. So I have to put the relationship between centimeters and meters now. Which one I'm going to put below? The meters or centimeters? The what? The meters, not the centimeters. Why meters below? So that they can cancel off as well. Meters will cancel off meters. In the numerator, remember I can only cancel numerator with denominator. So because this is in the numerator, the m is in the numerator, I must put it what? In the denominator to cancel it off. But what we know about centimeters and meters? How much centimeters give you a meter? Centi, we hear about what? 100, right? So it'd be 100 centimeters to give you what? 1 meter. Got it, guys? 100 centimeters give you 1 meter. So now let's cancel off. Oh, we did that already. Kilometers cancel off kilometers. Everybody get that?
Yeah.
This cancel off this, and this cancel off this. What unit are we left with now? Which is in the numerator, which is where we want it to be. So it could be what? 8 times 1,000 times 100. We can put the 100 first and put the 1,000 afterwards. What's our answer? 800,000. Understand? So that's 8 kilometers is 800,000 centimeters. Know that they're in the same unit. We're able to do what? Cancel off the centimeters and simplify. 2 into 2 goes once, and 2 into 800,000 is 400,000. Hence the answer is D. Which method do you prefer? The previous one or this one? You always prefer the first. Alright, what about you guys online? Previous method or this one? Oh, use whatever comes to your mind. You say you want to do 37? Alright, we say we want to try 37, right? No, it's you said you want to do to 40. You change your mind? Volume of prism is area times length. What's the volume we're given? 320. Alright, the volume is 320. Alright, what's the area of the cross section? It's gonna be what? What's the area of a square? 5 times 5. Alright, length by width, or you can say S squared. S this side, multiply by this side. So it's S squared. Alright, and in this case it'll be 25, right? So we got 25, the area of the cross section. It's a square. This drawing is not properly drawn, poorly drawn. Because that definitely don't look like a square. But we know it's gonna be 25, right? Because this length and this length will be the same. So 25 centimeters squared. And what is the length of one side of the base? Oh, I think I was reading this. I'm reading this wrong. In fact, I don't even think I read it properly. The volume of the cuboid is 320 cube, right? And they're saying, and the height is what? 5 centimeters. Okay, hold on. Okay, no, I'm seeing it. My drawing is probably not right. They're using the part where we can't see as the base, or the top as the base, or bottom, for instance, as the base. So I will have to do this over. All right. So it's gonna this. They said the height of it then. All right. The height of it is 5. All right. I'm not reading this thing properly. Okay, so this is gonna be that, and that. So what they're looking at? They're looking at this base here. Yeah, time. All right. This height is what? 5, right? So what they're looking at as the base is this. This length times this length. You understand? All right. So we have the height. So let's go back to this then. So area times and the height. Let me just change that. So it'll be area of the cross section. I can put it back. Area of the cross section times the height in this case, or the length. In this case, the height is the length. The area we don't know, but the height is what? 5? Yeah, so we just divide basically. So to find the area, we're just going to divide 320 by 5, yeah. And what we're going to get? Mm-hmm. Yeah. The 320 by 5, yeah. And what do you get? 5 and 5 goes once. 5 and 32 is what? 5, 6 is 32? 5, 6 is 30. It goes 6 times. 5, 6, 30, we made a 2. And 5 and 20 goes what? 4 times? 64. But remember now, this is just the area. The area is equal to 64 square centimeters, right? Because this is centimeters, so you can cancel off one of this cube, leaving centimeters squared. So what's the answer? This is area. How do you find the area of a square? It's S squared, side squared. So when you basically square root it, square root 64, you get the length of one side, which is going to be 8. Remember, 8 times 8 is what?
Oh, so simplify it.
Yeah. This is going to be 8 by 8. 8 times 8 is what? Let's find the volume actually. 8 times 8 is 64. right? That's length times width times height. So 8 times 8 times 5. 8, 8, 64. And 64 times 5 will give us back the 320. Just a check to make sure you understand.
So the answer is 8?
Yeah, 8, yeah. Because they want the length of one side of the base. So they're calling this the base. Earlier I was saying the drawing didn't make sense because typically we don't usually use the bottom part, we usually use the side piece that we're seeing here. But obviously that can't be the case based on the information. As I read the second statement, if a cuboid has a square base, what is the length of one side of the base? Because obviously if this was the base with a 5, if this was the base in front with a, if one side is 5, the other side would have to be 5 too, and that didn't make any sense. So they must be looking at the base. The thing about cubes, different sections can be the cross section because the opposite side will always be congruent. For instance, if you look at this, let me explain what I'm saying. You see this face here? This face is the same as which face? The one on top, right? So they're congruent. So you can cut the bottom going right up to the top and you get the same slices all the way through. But we could have done what? We could have done what? We could have done the same thing to the side. Just keep chopping at the side and get the same face all the way through as well. Right? If you had done that. Right? My drawing is ugly. If I had done this, chop like this, which the face behind here would have been the same too, right? This face would have been the same. So this side could also be the base as well. That's congruent to the the opposite side. Alright, so the idea for this one is just to divide and do what? Find the square root of it. What's 38? A square has the same area as a rectangle. What's the last one? This is the last one. But after 38 is statistics. So let's clean up this one and done. No, I'm going to a new topic. We've been doing measurements for the longest while. A square is what? The same area as a rectangle?
Yeah.
Okay, same area. So let's get a square. So what's the formula for the area of a square? S times S, right? S squared. The area of a square is S squared, which means length times width. But the length and width has the same measure. So we just call it S. Length and width. Right? So we just call it S squared rather than saying length times width since they are the same. But now the rectangle now, this length is different from this length. And we're told us one is 16, right?
Yes.
By 9? Alright, what is the length of one side of the square? Okay, what's the area of the, they have the same area. So what's the length of the rectangle? 16, and what's the width? 9. So the area of the rectangle is going to be what? 16 times 9, right? And we can use the distributive law. We can say 10 plus 6 times 9, right? Which is same as 16 times 9. What's 9 tens? 90. What's 9 sixes? 54? Which give you what? 144, right? That makes it easy. So that's 9, it'll be 144. 19 times 16 times 9 is 144. Alright? So now this area for the rectangle is the same as the area for the what? No, not triangle. Rectangle. Square, sorry. This is the rectangle. The same as the square. So, and the area of a square is what? S squared, right? So that means S squared is equal to 144. Because that's the area of a square. S squared. And we're told that both areas are the same, 144 and 144. For the rectangle and square. So to find one side, you do what? Square root 144. And what do you get? 12. And that's the last one, 38. So today, what we did? We did measurements. What other topics we did? Just measurements alone? We didn't do sets though, right? We didn't do sets. Right. We did simple interest? No. That was last week. We did we reviewed the variation, direct variation. We look at tax, percentages. We look at the little algebra, right? Fractions, binary operations, equations, and so forth. We also look at a little bit of substitution. Substitution, we look at vectors, a little vectors as well. Yeah, we did some vectors. And then measurements like conversion, time, and then we went into look at measurements. So that's some good topics covered today. Alright, so next Saturday, we're going to look at the statistics, right? Statistics and probably some trigonometry if we can get there.